Good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday. It's raining. My weekend plans have kind of been ruined, but on the bright side, I get to do a live, and I will probably spend most of my day in my craft room. It needs a good organizing, so I think that's what I'm going to plan to do. What about you guys? What are you up to? Don't be shy. Make sure you say hello in the chat. I see we have a few people on. We're not going to wait too long before we get started because I want to cover quite a bit of stuff today, actually. So I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to share my screen because I want to just talk a little bit about our promotion for the weekend. So if you're coming across this video months after we've done it, the promotion will be over, so you can just skip this part. But I do want to just kind of run through a couple of things so that we can all be on the same page. So it looks like a few of you are crafting already. It is a great day to craft. It's windy, it's raining, but I did look at the long range forecast. After tomorrow, things are looking up. There's a lot of sunshine and temperatures in the 20s, which I am very much looking forward to. So this is a screenshot of our website. So this weekend, we are giving away this package of Rub-Ons free with a $50 purchase. So what we recommend that you do is you add this to your cart immediately. We don't automatically give every order the promotion. We like to reward the people who read our social media posts and our emails. So that way you'll know about it. And if you go to our website and then just click up at the top on the online store button, you will see this icon right here. It says exclusive gift with purchase. So if you click on that, it takes you into the category which has all the information about the promotion. So you can read here all the rules and fine print and all that fun stuff. And then if you scroll down, you'll see this product here. So this is where you're going to go to add it to your cart. So you're going to click on that and you're going to add to cart. You'll notice that it says $0, so it's free. And then you can go shopping for all of the fun things that you want. So the key things are, well, there's a few key things. First of all, you have to add that to your cart. Otherwise, we won't add one to your order. You have to spend a minimum of $50 on regular priced product. And that means that your subtotal needs to be $50 or more. You can't use reward coupons or discount coupons when you are doing the promotion part. Now, if you have those options, just place a separate order and just communicate with us through the comment box, and we will combine orders and do all those fun things. So, and also no sale items can be part of your $50 total. It has to be regular priced product, and your order has to be placed on our online store. So you have to go on and shop today and tomorrow. So if you shopped yesterday or you special ordered products and you were invoiced and that kind of stuff, that doesn't qualify for our promotions. You have to place an order Saturday and Sunday in order to qualify. Now, we run these promotions quite frequently. We're always looking for fun things to share with our customers, and we're probably going to be doing it a little more frequently. I won't say we will always have a promotion going, but I do love offering these little deals. So you might find we start doing them during the week and all sorts of things. But we are pretty strict about the rules about our promotions because we're running them all the time. You can hold off on your shopping and wait for promotions to come. But that, you have to weigh the risk and reward kind of thing. So you might miss out on some things if you don't shop right away. And if you do miss out, we can always order. That's not a problem. But sometimes, if you hold out, you miss out on stuff. But it's fun to get freebies. I love getting something free, a little bonus. And we like to use them as educators too. Like we've been using Rub-Ons a lot lately in our moments and memories pages and things like that. And I'm just going to take a little extra time today, and I'm going to go through and give you some tips and tricks. I'm going to create a card live so you can kind of see in action how it all works. The lives are wonderful because you can interact with me by asking questions in the comments and so on. And no question is a dumb question. So feel free to, throw them in the comments. If you're thinking it, somebody else is probably thinking it too. So I'm happy to answer those. And I see Shelby's on here. So she is, if she sticks around, she's a good resource for answering questions too. So we are here to help. And again, if you're a little shy and you don't want to ask it here, you can always email us too. So, but I just wanted to show you kind of where you can find all those great things. So again, I'll just review. You just click the online store tab at the top. And now my computer's going to be slow. There you go. And here is the little section that has the exclusive gift information. You just go right in there. Shelby's here for the long haul. Okay. And right at the bottom, you will see this, and you want to add it to your cart and then go shopping. Okay. So we're done sharing our screen. Let's remove that. Here's the thing. Okay. I see a question here. Good morning. You know what I'm really curious about? When will the new Christmas stuff roll in? Oh my God. Who wants to talk about Christmas? Yes, we do generally start to see Christmas. It seems earlier and earlier every year. It's like the companies are trying to beat each other out. It really does vary. I know paper companies release very early, but I would say July-ish is going to be accurate. Some companies don't release their Christmas stuff, like if you're looking for stamps and dies, until October, because some companies are like monthly releasers. So they have to get through summer. They have to get through fall. They have to get through Halloween and all the other things that they want to focus on. Some of them will do a release early, and then they'll do another release later on. I know Spellbinders, we are in June doing a big trade show with them virtually, where we will play with a lot of the new holiday release stuff. So it's coming. Definitely coming, but I'm not going to think about it today. Today, I'm going to think about floral rub-ons, and I'm going to think about sunny skies and warm temperatures. How about that? But I get it. I mean, Christmas crafters, if you are, hardcore into that, you want to get a good jump on that. And, that's why it's a good thing to pick up things like throughout the year, let's say this year, so that you can get a good start on Christmas next year, so pick up things this year that you maybe don't use, and then you can use those to start next year off, which I'm sure you guys already know all that. But anyways, yes, we're going to ignore that topic for now, and we're going to move on to something a little more non-themed. So let's talk about rub-ons. I noticed Judith, right? She was the very first comment in the chat. She says, good morning. I'm interested in learning more about the new rub-ons. I have some garden themed ones that have been in my stash for about 20 years, and they don't adhere very well. So first of all, rub-ons were a big thing back in the day, and they were good. But if you had them in your stash for any length of time, it's almost like they dried out and they didn't work. But they have come a very, very long way. Now, I can't say if these rub-ons are going to last 20 years because I have no idea. But the idea behind these things is that you're supposed to use them. And they are amazing. A lot of the paper companies are coming out with them now. They're amazing to use on layouts. But you can also use them to make cards. And I mean quick and easy cards. I went into a little more detail with my card today. Not crazy. Just to show you how you can elevate them a little bit. Christina's made some beautiful samples, but they can be very, very simple. You can simply take a, let's just use an arch as an example. You can take an arched die, and you can put the rub-on right on your arched die cut, and then you can mat that a couple of times, put it on a card front, throw a sentiment on, and you're done. So they can be that easy. And that's the great thing. And in this package that we're giving away, you get 8 rub-ons. So there's sheet number 1, and sheet number 2. So you can make 8 cards. And I bet you if you had this in your hand today on a rainy afternoon, you could do all 8 cards and be done. So that's what I really love about them. This style of rub-on is really great because they've done a lot of the collaging and layering and everything for you. You're simply going to rub the design onto a piece of paper and you're going to call it a day. So it's that simple. But if you are a creative person, which most of us are, and you want to elevate it a little bit, there's lots you can do. So I'm going to walk you through a whole bunch of things today, and hopefully you'll learn a thing or two. I'm not going to rush. It's a Saturday morning. You can come and go. You can come back and watch it on replay if you want to. If you are snuggled up in your craft room already, just have your video going and you can listen to me ramble. And I'm not going to really watch the clock. So just kind of, take what you want from it. This video will live on our YouTube channel, so you can go back and refer to it. And then, of course, keep in mind, our promotion is going on this weekend at the store. So you can shop, spend minimum $50, get this for free. Okay, so let's show the samples that Christina made for us. So Christina, I gave her a set of rub-ons and I said, can you just whip up a few cards for me so that I have something ready and I can show people. And then if I have time, I will go and create a card myself. And the rain made it possible for me to do that. So let's start with the first one. So here is card number 1. Now I'm just going to hold it up a little bit closer just so you can kind of see the detail and the color that is here. Isn't it beautiful? Like, it is just stunning. So that is this rub-on right here. Pardon me. And she literally just rubbed this whole thing on, added some flowers, a sentiment. She's finished. It is very pretty. Just super cool. Now that is card number 1. And she used a black sentiment on that, which I really think that really is very striking on the card. I love a little bit of black on a card. Here is card number 2. And that is using this rub-on down here at the bottom. So what she did was she created an oval in the front panel of her card. She ran it through an embossing folder. And then she used the piece that popped out of here and nested it back in. And that's what she put her rub-on on. And then she embellished with some butterflies. These are from a Spellbinder's plate and they're foiled. I don't know if the light will grab this. Let me just see. There we go. You can see it up there. So they're foiled in gold. Isn't that beautiful? And then she's got a sentiment on here that's also foiled in gold. So that is card number 2. And then card number 3 is just a rectangle stitched layer of panels. And she's got her design, this one here, right in the middle. So they're very, very pretty. And there's really not a lot of work involved in any of these to get them all put together. Now, I did a test card for myself. And this is what I came up with. So that is my version of this rub-on extravaganza that we're going to go through here. So with mine, which design did I use on this one? This one down here at the bottom. So what I did is, I'm going to hold it up a little bit closer so you can kind of see. So I actually did some stamping on my panel. You'll notice in a lot of these designs, they have sort of like text or, other elements stamped within the layering. And I wanted to kind of mimic that, but you can stamp over top of rub-ons. You can layer rub-ons on top of rub-ons. You can add other die cuts. You can do all kinds of fun things. So I am going to recreate this card. Now I've already used this rub-on, so I won't be able to use that one again, but I'm going to possibly use, which one did I have kind of cut out? Oh, this one. Yep. The one up here at the top. And I might, in this case here, I used a die cut butterfly. But I might, and I'll show you the process that I went through to get it to look like that. But I might use a butterfly. See, this one has one that kind of floats up at the top. I might take this butterfly and replace it over here. That won't give me the dimension that this one does, but I might just sort of play around for a different look. So that's kind of where I'm headed. Now we're also going to do a little bit of foiling today too. My sentiment is foiled and I'm using a foil it from Tailored Expressions. And I don't really demo foil very often. So I thought I might take a little bit of time and kind of show you how you do that as well. We're going to do some ink blending to create our own background paper and a few other little things. So there's going to be lots of things to learn about in this live. And again, I'm watching comments. So please ask any questions that you might have, whether they're related directly to the card or something else that you have a question about. I'm happy to answer them as I go. I've poured myself a glass of water so I can do lots of talking and we should be good. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to, so I have several rub-ons left over from the pack. I had 4 left over because we made 4 cards and here are the 4 that are left over. So when you're working with the rub-ons, they come with a like clear piece that has the rub-on on it. Okay. And then there is a backing sheet. So I leave them together as a whole piece. And when I'm working with them, I actually cut out the design I want to use with the backing sheet on, because these rub-ons have a little bit of stick to them. So you don't want to put them up on top of something by mistake, because the rub-on might peel off. And then once it's stuck to something, there's no recovering it. That's it. So I've just sort of cut out that design, but I've left the 2 pieces together. Like they're still stuck together. So I'm just going to separate all of these so that I have like different pictures here. And you'll notice on some of the rub-ons, they have like this splatter stuff kind of off to the side. You can cut just that out if you want to add more of it to one design or another. Like see, this one here has some pieces floating up at the top. If you don't want that to be part of your design, you just kind of cut them off and then you just don't rub them on. But then you can use those pieces on another card. And that's what I plan to kind of do with this butterfly here. I'm going to sort of separate it from the design and I might incorporate it on this flower here. So there are the 4 different pieces. So it's that easy to just cut them apart. And the rub-on itself will kind of stick to the backing sheet a little bit. And then that keeps it protected. And then you don't have to worry about it sticking to your glass mat or your desk or another piece of paper or whatever. It's nice too that stickiness is there. It's not overly tacky, but it is there, because when you place it down on your design, it kind of holds it in place while you're rubbing it on. Makes sense so far? Okay, so I'm just going to set these ones aside. So this is the one that I'm going to work with. I possibly might bring in this butterfly, so I'll leave that at the top of my pile. So to begin, I'm going to pull out a panel that I pre-die cut. So this is the panel that I'm going to work with. Now this is kind of like a frayed edge die cut. I believe my dies are from Tailored Expressions, but they no longer make this shape. Now I know Spellbinders has like a frayed edge design. Shelby, if you're still here and on your computer, can you take a look if we have that? And if we do, can you throw a link in the comments? After this video is over, I might go back and try to pull links and put them in the video description below. So if you are looking for things, but you can always reach out to us and just say, you know, that die you were talking about in the video, like, do you have that? Shelby says, hold please. I'm putting her on the spot. Yeah, we're happy to go and look for you. But I know it was Spellbinders, so you can look under the Spellbinders brand. And if we don't have it, Shelby will add it to our shopping list. We always have a shopping list going. But that's the panel that I'm going to start with. And I'm going to start by rubbing on my design. Okay. So what I'm going to do is remove the backing, and I'm actually going to cut off this little section right here that has these little splatters, because I'm not sure I want them to go where they're going to go if I do it as a full piece. So there I've got those little splatters. I'm just going to set them aside. And there's even another one down here. Not that they won't look good if I do that, but I might want to place them somewhere else. So I'm just going to peel off that backing sheet, and there is the rub-on revealed. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to position it on my panel. I'm going to pull it off screen a little bit here just so I can make sure I get it straight, because we don't want a crooked card. Okay, there we go. So there it is. Doesn't that look great already? So I'm just going to kind of, you know, push it down with my fingers. Now, back in the day, and even sometimes today, they will give you a popsicle stick inside your package to rub on. Oh, it looks like we do have those rectangles. Excellent. So Shelby's put a link in the comments. They're called Deckled rectangles. And it would be a nesting set very similar to the one that I'm using. So if you're looking for something like that, then you can snag those. And if they sell out, then we will get more. Just email us and we'll get you on the notify list. So once your design is on here, I was talking about popsicle sticks. Those are fine. You can use them. But what I really love about, what I really love to use is these Teflon bone folders. Oh, I got to close my door. It's squeaking. I closed it a little bit, but I have my window open. So it's creating like a vacuum. Cooper's in here laying on the floor, but he's sound asleep and he can't really hear very well. So I don't think he hears me talking. This is the one I'm going to use today. Both of them are great. If you've never used a Teflon bone folder before, you're in for a treat if you get one for yourself. This one's more like a pencil, really good for scoring and like fine detail areas if you want to rub on. But this one is just like a nice big panel, and I'm going to use this edge right here. This is also great for folding, and you have a scoring end here too. But I'm going to take that and I'm just going to rub on. Now, your success is going to also be determined by the surface that you're using when you're using your rub-on. Because if your surface is not completely flat or it has a bit of cushion to it, you might not get as good of a result. Just make sure you've got a hard, flat surface underneath you. I'm using my glass board and it works amazing. So I'm just simply rubbing all over the whole design. And I'm not pushing overly hard, but you want to make sure that you get the whole thing. And that's why this nice wide area here is good, especially when you're doing bigger rub-ons. And I mean, these things that I'm talking about can be part of your $50 purchase, and then you'll get the rub-ons for free. So if you don't already have some of these items, it's a great time to pick them up. So just make sure you go over the whole design. And then when you think it's all done, it's kind of hard to tell if it is, but the rub-ons nowadays, they go on kind of like butter. They're just real smooth and easy. So you're going to start by peeling this back, but do it slowly to make sure your whole design is transferred. And if you find that one of the sections is not, then just lay it back down and rub your bone folder a little bit and it'll be fine. And you want to get all the little pieces, all the little dots and the little splatters and all that fun stuff, because that adds to your design. So just kind of go around, make sure it's all transferred, and then you are done. That's it. So now this doesn't have anything on it. It's empty. That's garbage. And by the way, if you've been watching my videos for any length of time, the girls were talking about these catchers that you can put on your desk. They're made by the same company as the glassboard company. And this little piece here, this little edge, it just tucks right underneath your mat. And so it becomes like a seamless surface from your glass mat into the tray. And that's where I put all my garbage. I literally slide it off my desk and into this tray. I didn't think I needed them. I thought, I've got enough stuff on my desk when I'm doing a live. I don't need more things. You need these. They are amazing. So they come as a set of 3. So at the top here, I have the next one, and I have my brushes in it right now because I'm going to be using those. And then there's a smaller one, and I have my foil sitting in that. So it's ready to go. So it just kind of gets things off your desk, but keeps them contained. And then I use this larger one for garbage. Shelby, I knew you needed them. I know you did. You've told me several times, and I'm like, I don't know. Because I'm trying to be a little bit more, I'll use Shelby's word, intentional when I'm purchasing things for my room and, products that I play with and so on. Because you guys know as well as I do, you can get a lot of stuff very fast. And I mean, I love stuff, but it gets a little overwhelming when you have too much stuff. So I was really like, oh, do I really need these? Susan, Shelby put a link, just a couple comments up. They're called craft catchers. I absolutely love them. Like, I don't know. I mean, I used to use like little dishes and things like that to put trash in. No way. This is way better. And it's bigger. So like there's my card panel. So you can see it's bigger and it just sits right at the side of my desk. And I just literally wipe stuff off and put it in there. It's amazing. So I just wanted to share that. Okay. So here's our panel. Pretty cool, right? And on my original card, I am going to put my sentiment kind of down here. So what I did, you can put your sentiments right on your card front. But I kind of thought this design would lend itself well to foiling. It's just kind of elegant and pretty. So I thought a little foiled sentiment would be nice. I'm just trying to get the light to catch it. We'll try again. Maybe if I come down, there we go. So it's not like crazy or anything, but I thought it might be fun to do a little foiling. So we're going to do that step next. Now, before we jump into the foiling, I want to explain how this set works. And a lot of the sets from Tailored Expressions work in a similar fashion. So this is one of their newer sets for sentiments, and it is called More Sundry Sentiments. So when it says more, it means there's previous releases. So the Sundry font has been extremely popular. Taylor said in one of her videos, it's their top selling font. And I love it. I love the way that it looks. I like the little swoops and curls on the larger word. And then they pair it up with just a plain like typed font. So you get all of these. And this one is a nice one because it kind of covers all of the, I'll call them like, top 8 verses that you kind of use. Sympathy, thanks, birthday, congrats, that kind of thing. So it's a good staple. And they're red rubber stamps. So if you're not familiar with Tailored, a lot of their stamps are red rubber. And no, you can't see through them. But I just kind of gotten over that. I use my Misty to stamp a lot. And I find that the red rubber just stamps so good. So I'm going to show you just quickly on a piece of paper what the stamp looks like when it's stamped out. So I had, oh, here it is. I put them right up here. I have a piece of paper. I have my Misty handy. And I'm just going to quickly show you what it looks stamped out, because we're not really stamping today. We're going to be foiling with another product. So I'm going to use the birthday wishes, which is the one that I'm using on my card. And I will just pop that in there. So when you're using your Misty and you use a stamp set like this that has this cling material on it, see that? It already has depth. So inside your Misty, you generally have like that black foam pad, or if you've purchased the grid piece, which is what I have in mine, I've taken that out because this is what you add when you want to use the clear stamps. It fills in the well of the Misty a little bit, but you don't need that when you're working with these. So you're just going to put your stamp down here and pick it up with your window. I got to move up a little bit here. And then we're just going to stamp it with some ink. So if you've never seen a Misty in action before, this is quite a tool. It's called the most incredible stamping tool invented. That's what Misty stands for. And it really is. So I'm just going to close this and then just add some pressure. And if I have to stamp again, then it's already lined up and you don't have to worry about it being blurry or whatever. But this is what it looks like when you stamp it out. Isn't that awesome? I love it. And there are matching dies that you can use with them. And I have those right here on a magnetic sheet. Now, it's kind of hard sometimes to tell which dies go with which stamp. So when I cut apart the dies, what I try to do is arrange them on my sheet in the order that they're showing on here. And then that kind of helps me when I'm trying to pick out a sentiment. So right away, I can see that the birthday wishes one is right here because it's the second one down. So then I could take this die, you just line it up with the design, and they're very easy to line up, and you can go ahead and cut that up. So that's a little trick that you can use when you line up your dies, is to kind of match them up with the picture on the front, and then that way you kind of all know, what order they go in. Now that only works if you put them back where they're supposed to go in. I don't always do that, but I try. I really do try, because I find it's just easy. Then you don't have to go, okay, which die goes with this? If you've heard me in videos before, one of my biggest pet peeves about making a card is actually having to stop and make a sentiment. I don't know what my problem is. It's just not. No, Sylvia, we don't order them in a bunch of different colors. Unfortunately, we can't get the teal that matches the tailored color. That's exclusive to them. So we went with this ice blue, and all of our stuff is ice blue. So that's the closest we can get, unfortunately. But you know what? Even if it doesn't match 100%, you're going to love it. You don't want to do without them if you're thinking that they are a thing for you. My craft room is very colorful, and I like that. They do not carry them. No. They do not make them. But anyway, so that's how the stamp and die works. But then Tailored often comes out with foilets. So these are panels that are pre-printed with toner ink. And they match the sentiments exactly that you stamp out. And that means that you can take your dies and you can cut these out. So if you're lazy, because sometimes I'm lazy, you can skip the stamping part and just use your dies and cut them out on here without even foiling. Then it looks like you've stamped them and you've just die cut them out. Bam, done, right? Or you can run this panel through your Mink or your Fuse tool, and you can foil them. So you can have panels with foiled sentiments already done, and then all you have to do is cut them out. Or you can, even if you don't want the stamp set, you can just buy the foilets themselves. Now, they are kind of printed sort of close together. They work with the dies. You can get all your dies on there. But sometimes you can, well, you can hand cut them out if you want to. Or you can use other dies. So let me get these out of the way here. To cut out a panel like I did on my card here. So I've shown the nesting shapes before, like, you know, the rectangles that are stitched and whatever, and they go down to a real small size. And I always say, well, you know, you can use those for sentiments and so on. So you can actually cut these panels out and then you can stamp in there. Or you can use these with the foilets. So the birthday one, I'll get a new one here. Where's my foilets? Hello. I have a very bad habit of losing things in the middle of my lives. Okay, so here's the stamp and the die. What did I do with the foilet? Because I had them in the same package. Okay, hang on. Because I'm going to need one. Did you see where I put it, Shelby? Did anyone see where I put it? Oh, it's right here underneath the magnetic sheet. Okay, so here's the package. And inside you get 12 sheets of these foilets inside here. So I am going to take this die. So it has 2 lines of stitching. The cut line is in the middle. I demonstrated this in a live yesterday. Do I still have that panel? Right close by. Let me just see. I was just moving things around in my room and I had it. Oh, here it is. So this particular style of die has the cut line in the middle. So you're going to get stitching on the piece you cut out of and then the piece that pops out. So it's very similar to this. You put your die on, you run it through. The piece that's left behind, so the piece you cut it out of, has a window with stitching around it. And then the piece that pops out also has stitching on it. So that's the same thing as this. But it happens to fit really nicely over this birthday wishes die. So that's how I did that. So I'm going to cut this out. I'm just going to center it, kind of. And I'm just going to run that through my die cut machine really fast. Now, you can't cut all the sentiments out using this die because they would be overlapping each other and it doesn't always work. So you can kind of pick and choose how you want to use the foilet, but you don't need the die set or the stamp set if you want to get the foilets. And that kind of holds true with all of the sets from their sentiment sets from Tailored. You can use the foilets on their own. You just have to be a little bit creative with how you use them. But this is the birthday one cut out. So that is what I'm going to run through my foiling machine. And so now that's done. And I can use this whole panel for other things. So I like that option because sometimes, you know, you want to sort of highlight your sentiment in some way and you don't want to use the die, or maybe you don't have the die. It's just an option. So let's do the foiling so that that part is out of the way. I've got my little mini mink machine here. We'll bring that over. I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to go up to 3. And then when the light stops flashing, it's actually a red light because I'm looking at my screen. It doesn't look red, but it's red. It'll go to green, and then that's how we know it's ready to go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is grab my carrier sheet, and I do have a small piece of foil. This is why you want to keep all your scraps. I have a small piece of foil here, so I'm just going to cut this down so it covers the design. Is that enough? Yes, it is. So here we go. We're going to cover that up. So I put shiny side up, dull side down, and make sure your panel is facing up. And I'm going to just slip this into my carrier sheet here so that it's ready to go once my light turns green. So the folded edge of the carrier sheet is going to go in first. So there we're green. And I'm just going to put this through, and you'll feel the rollers kind of grab your sheet, and then you just let it do its thing. This kind of foiling is so easy to do. I call it cheater foiling, but I don't mind cheating once in a while. Any questions so far you want to ask? Are you learning anything? Is anyone crafting? Okay, so it's popping out the other side, which is awesome. And you can foil like the whole panel and then cut them out or have them ready to go. Or you can just do individual ones like I'm doing here. So I'm just going to turn that off and set that aside. And then we just remove this from the carrier sheet. And I kind of like to just let it cool down a little bit. Like, I mean, it's pretty much cool already. Susan's crafting. What? That's good. And then I'm just going to peel off the foil and turn this around so you can see. And now we have our foiled sentiment. So I'm just going to try to get the light to catch it, which is not always easy to do. There we go. So I have a nice foiled sentiment, and it's ready to go. Susan, you know I'm only teasing you. Okay. So we've got our sentiment foiled. We've got our panel somewhere. Wow, I'm a mess. Okay, here we go. Here's our panel. Okay, so our sentiment is ready to go. So it's going to kind of go down here like so. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I created my background. Tanya, I love it too. And you're right. So again, it's one of those things for me where I'm crafting. I got all my stuff out. I'm right in the middle of a project and I think, ooh, foil would look good. And then I'm thinking, I got to go over there and I got to get the machine out and I got to get all the foil out. And no, I'm not going to do it. So that's why I think it is a good idea to, when you have your machine out, foil a few things. Like make yourself a little stash of foiled things, because then you can just go and grab the stuff done. And you know what? People always say, well, it might not be done in the right color. So do things in your neutrals, your silvers, your golds, your rose gold, your basics. And then maybe have a few things done in like a teal, or if you want to go like rainbow, like whatever, you think you'll grab the most often. I bet you when you go to your stash and you pull those things out, you're going to go, oh, this will work. So definitely do a few. Build yourself a little stash. You don't have to go crazy and foil everything you have. Just build a little stash, and then you can go to that and it's done. And those are really fun things to do in front of the TV. When you're spending quality time with your family or your husband, you pull out the machine. It doesn't make a lot of noise. You can just foil up some stuff. You can be listening to whatever show is on TV. And then you've got these things done. And then just, set yourself up a little filing system in your office where you can just go and grab them when it's time. I find that works best for me, but that's just me. Okay, so now we're going to create the rest of my background before we finished. So what I really loved about this particular set was the fact that it has this sort of text already built into the design. I kind of want to carry that across the whole panel. So I bet you can guess already what stamp I'm going to pull out. It's the trusty Tailored Expressions Fineline script. Now, I know we are sold out of this right now, but I did just order a bunch more. And I know a lot of people already have it because I talk about it all the time. So what I'm going to do is I've got some scratch paper. This is just paper from my computer printer. And I'm going to ink up this panel in poppy seed ink. So today I just grabbed the Tailored Expressions ink, but any kind of like, it's kind of more like a dark gray than it is a black. I didn't want it to be too intense. So I'm just going to like do a section of it. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. And then I'm going to stamp off on this scratch paper. So I'm going to open this up. Okay, so this is, I'm not going to use this for anything. I'm just going to stamp off. So put the panel on there and just stamp off. Okay. And then do it again. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, what a waste. Nope. I don't want my print to be super intense. Now I'm going to bring on my panel. I'm going to put this on here and I'm going to stamp. Now, the thing I love about these 6x6 panels that are like this is that you don't have to use them as a whole piece or on a block or in your MISTI. You just put them down whenever. Now, I didn't get much stamping over here. No big deal. Just put it on. If I find there's an area that I want to cover, oh, that was pretty good. You just put it on. So then you end up with a panel that looks like this. So now you've carried that sort of text across the whole panel, but it's not super intense. I don't want anything super intense. And I could have gone with a lighter gray ink to start with, but this way I just kind of have, you know, enough depth that it shows up, but not too much. And I just did that by stamping off. So that's all that is. And then I can take this and, you know, cover it up later. The other thing I didn't do on this one was stamp my sentiment to make it look like it's got text on it. So it kind of pops off a little bit that way if you leave it clean, but you could stamp over. I'm just going to pull this on. This is the one we stamped. I'm going to see if I've got enough ink on here. I'm going to just sort of stamp over the design that we stamped. And this is fun to do too, you know, just create some stuff. Oh, see, that's kind of cool. And see, then when I would cut that out with my die, you'd have that little bit of text in the background, which is kind of fun. Now, I'm not going to do it on this sentiment. I'm going to kind of stick with what I did, but just options. Okay, so that's that part. So now we've got this part ready, and we are kind of ready to start assembling our panel, sort of. But what I want to do is I want to create sort of a paper to go around my sentiment and then also my panel, and I want it to match my design. So what I did was I pulled out the gumdrop ink and a 1-inch blending brush. So this is going to give me a very light blend. And I love that. So I'm going to create a panel to go in behind my design. I've actually already cut it out. So here's my envelope. And this is the panel that's going to go on top. So it's just a wee bit smaller than my envelope. So you can see here on my finished card, so you can see the back panel. There's that white border that goes around it. I like that. I like to create layers. So this is my panel. And what I'm going to do, I've got marks on here. Hopefully they'll cover up. Is I'm going to ink blend it. Okay, so I'm going to take my gumdrop ink and I'm going to take my 1-inch blending brush, which again, we are sold out of, but more coming. I did not use colored paper. I'm very tricky. But this is a good way to customize your design to match your colors. Like I really wanted to pull in this sort of like teal look, and I kind of wanted to make my own. So I'm brushing off on the glass mat. Okay, I might go back and pick up some more of that ink, but right now I want to get it off my brush. And I'm just going to hit the edges of my panel and just take my time and build the ink up. But this brush will give no harsh lines at all. And see how I'm picking up all that ink off of my glass mat? I'm not wasting any of it. And there's lots of ink in the brush as well. And you're just going to put that all over the back. I just need a little bit more. Now, if you ever ink a panel up and then want to put a rub-on on top of it, you really have to make sure that this ink is very dry, because otherwise the rub-on won't stick. Okay, so that's a tip too. Like, make sure if you're using any kind of like ink blended background and then you want to put your rub-on on that, you have to make sure that that panel is very dry. It might be dry to the touch, but not dry enough that your rub-on is going to want to stick. So now we've created that panel, and I can take this and I can place that on top and see how perfectly that looks, how it matches, goes together really nicely. So I didn't have to go and select cardstock and all that sort of stuff. I just started with white and I added that in. Now, I also want a piece for in behind here. So I'm going to take a piece of scrap. That's the heavyweight stuff. I need a piece of scrap. Hold on, I'll just grab one. This is why I keep all my little pieces too, because you never know when you're just going to need a small piece of cardstock. And I'm just going to use my trimmer, and I'm going to trim a piece to go in behind this. My trimmer, where's my trimmer? Oh, here it is. So I'm just going to, let's cover that up before we make a mess. I'm just going to trim this down. What size is this? Okay, so I'm going to go, what did I say that was? 2. Okay, so I'm going to go here, because I wanted a little bit bigger, because what I'm going to do is add a little texture with my fingernail, and I want enough space to do that. So we're just going to cut this just slightly larger, like so. Okay. Ugh, come on. So that'll be perfect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is the same thing to this. I'm going to ink blend. I'm going to need a little more ink. I'm just going to ink blend the edges of this. And I mean, it doesn't matter if you ink the whole panel, because a lot of it's going to get covered up. Okay, so now before I go all crazy here, I'm going to clean up this ink that I made here. So I'm just using alcohol in a spray bottle. Just make sure it's like 70% or higher. I like 70% myself. I find the higher is really smelly. And I'm using my favorite cloth, Carolyn's favorite cloth. And I'm just cleaning up that surface. And it is alcohol, so it dries really fast. So you can just jump right on there and start working right away. Okay, so now this will fit on there and just give me a little bit of a blue border around that. Perfect, right? Now, again, this is very muted, so I'm going to come in and add a little bit of brown ink on top of that. And I'm using my Distress Walnut Stain, and I'm going lightly, just along the edges. This will just kind of soften it a little bit. It won't take away the blue, but it just sort of softens the edge. And I'm doing the same thing on this panel. Just a little bit around the edges, just to sort of mute it a little bit. So nothing too crazy. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just take my fingernail, and I'm just going to sort of pull it along the edges of this paper. Now, if you don't have fingernails, or you paid a lot of money for your fingernails, you can use an edge distresser tool. I have one somewhere. Oh, here it is. So here it is here. You can do that, but this is a little bit more gentle, and I didn't want it to be too harsh. So I'm just coming in with my fingernail, and I'm going to do it both to this panel and to the one that my rub-on design is going to go on. It's going to add just a little bit of texture which I like. It kind of mimics the edges of that die that we used to cut out our main panel, the frayed edge one. Okay, so then this will fit on top of here, like so. Perfect. And then we're just going to take this. And it doesn't take that long. Try not to give yourself a paper cut. Something I would do live. You guys are real quiet. I just had, I've got a red squirrel eating all my bird seed right now. I just had a male and female cardinal. I've been getting them coming together a lot lately. They spend a lot of time together. And they've been visiting my feeders a lot. They're right outside my office window. But I have a red squirrel. I think he knows that I can't get up right now and chase him away. I have my bird feeder caged, but he can get in the cage. He's figured it out. He jumps from the roof of my house onto my pole, because I have a baffle on it, so he can't crawl up the pole. And so he jumps. I think he flies, really. And he gets inside the cage, and he just sits in there and has a full-on meal. So as soon as I'm done this video, I'm going to go chase him away. And then he doesn't usually come back for the day. But, yeah, he's having a feast right now. I guess they have to eat too, but my problem is you can spend a small fortune feeding them because they eat so much. I'm almost done. But this makes such a difference. I won't have to file my nail later. Okay. One more side. You just sort of scratch your nail along it, and it just kind of folds that paper up a little bit, and it just looks really great when you put it on your back, on your envelope, not your envelope, your card base. It kind of just defines the edges nicely. There, we're done. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. And my glue press was giving me grief before. Oh no, I had a little piece of something stuck in there and it was just not coming out, but I think I got it out. Okay, so we're just going to pop this in here. Like I said, you can stamp right onto your panel here, but I liked just to do something a little different. I wanted to add the foil, and I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so that's that part done. And then this, I am going to pop up and place it on here. And I think it looks really great. So we're going to use a little foam adhesive. So I am using today the Scrapbook Adhesives brand of foam tape, because I find this one is a little lower profile and it doesn't have quite as much pop. And in this particular case, I don't want this to stick up super far. So I'm just using a lower profile tape. And I can cut all my strips to the size I want. So we've got a few people late to the party. That's okay. No need to rush. You can always go back and watch this later while you're hanging out doing something. Okay, so there we go. Panel done. So I'm just going to remove that tape. Like so. And then we're just going to put this right on our panel. Like that. And then we can stick our sentiment down in the bottom. Like so. And I'm just going to grab a magnet here just to pop that down and hold it in place. Okay, now the decision. Well, first of all, I'm going to show you how I made my butterfly. So what I did was I die cut out a butterfly, and it is from this set right here. I think the set's on sale actually. So this one gives you the butterfly and these branches, which are really nice. I would not leave them connected like that. If I was using them, I would just snip that off and then you could like use those to add greenery to things. But I like the butterfly and it has lots of texture. So you can see all that detail that it has. So I was trying to get it to, you know, be the same colors as this. So I used my gumdrop ink and then I used a smaller blending brush. And I'm just going to add, again, I'm going to get rid of a lot of ink because I want to really control how much goes on. I'm going to start in the center. And I'm going to go in with a light hand and just start blending out from the wings, or sorry, from the center to the edges of the wings. And just sort of let it fade out like so. Because I kind of wanted to have some white edges like that. Okay, and then I'm going to come back in with that poppy seed ink and a small brush. Again, I'm going to brush off some of that ink and I'm going to go pretty heavily right in the middle because I want to do his body and have it be dark. And then I'm going to blend that out. Might have to go in with a little more teal because I'm kind of covering it up. But that's the beauty of ink, is that you can kind of play around with it. Oh, I've got lots on here. I don't need to get more. So I'm going to go right over top of that black and I'm going to start bringing that blue. Ooh, that looks good. Perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to take my black and I'm going to kind of just do the tips up here. Just to kind of tone it down, mute it a little bit. Kind of something like that. And the nice thing about die cuts is that you can kind of like bend them a little bit so you can get some dimension. And I think that goes together nicely with my design. Let's get rid of this ink that I've got on my mat here because I don't want black all over everything. But I think that looks pretty good. So I can go ahead and attach that butterfly there, or I can take this design here and I can put that on there as a rub-on. Which one do you guys like better? Excuse me. So this one's a little bit bigger and it does create a little bit of dimension. But then I've got the rub-on version as well. So I'm going to wait and see. And then I do have these rub-ons that I haven't used that I think I'm going to add over here. But I'm waiting to see. Okay, Tanya likes okay, we like the dimension, the raised one. Okay, we're going to stick with the original then. Perfect. All right, so we'll save that butterfly for another design. I mean, I could even add, I don't want to put too many butterflies in, but you could so you can actually put rub-ons on top of rub-ons. So like if I wanted to, like, let's say that wasn't there. If I wanted to add a butterfly or something else on top, you can actually you can layer them. So you can totally do that. And it turns out beautifully. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one like you guys said. Now, what I did do, I dug through my stash. Like if you look at this design, this is part of the rub-on. See how they have that postmark there? I really like those sort of like grungy stamps. And I found some stamps that weren't even in a package. I just had them sort of thrown. I have this little postage one. And I have the lines. So this is not from the waffle flower postage one. Those are like perfectly stamped. These ones are kind of grungy. There was also a ticket. Let's see, which would be kind of fun too. Um, sorry, I'm just grabbing them out of my bag. So this one's kind of like a ticket, which would be kind of fun to put up there too. Maybe this one I'll do the ticket. But it just kind of adds some texture. I need a bigger block. I'm not using my Misty when I do these. I'm going to just use a block. And I might stamp that ticket. But again, I'm going to also use that stamping off technique because I don't want the ink to be super harsh, but you want it to be a little darker than this. So I'm gonna play a little bit first because I want to make sure. These are very poor quality stamps, but they work. So it kind of gives you that ticket kind of look. And I think I would have to stamp it pretty dark in order to get it to show over the text. And then you kind of like just put your butterfly there. But do you think it's weird that this is a rectangle and this is a rectangle? Like, am I overthinking it? Or I could go with the postage one. Is that the right way? You know, this one gives me round. And then I do have the lines. I don't know, registration lines or whatever. So you can kind of do something like that. Which one do you guys like better? Or do you not want me to do it at all? I did it a little bit on my original one. I kind of have this sort of up in the corner there. But I stamped off. Like the round one better, not two rectangles. Well, that's what I was thinking. Something round. Okay, do you think I should do it or do you think I should leave it off? I kind of want to wreck it. Kind of get to that point, you're like, well, I don't know. I mean, it might look kind of cool. You like the lines with the circle? Me too. But I need a vote. Do you think I should do it? I do like the original. Okay. Well, I'm going to stamp it a little darker than the original though, because I don't want it to fade into the into this text. Oh gosh, now I'm nervous. Okay, I'm just going to do it. Don't be scared. Just do it. You don't learn anything if you don't experiment, right? I just prefer to learn it in private, not live. Okay, I did it. I think it looks pretty cool. This kind of looks like a postage card. Oh, Robin was like, just leave it off. She's not a risk taker. She wants it simple. Okay, so then I don't know. I just think it adds just a little bit of something. I don't know. It's not all bad. Okay, let's put this down. And I mean, it's just paper. It's not a big deal. And I kind of like my homemade butterfly. Yeah, so there's just a few of those sets with the butterfly. It's not expensive, and it's on sale. I'm stressing her out. I'm with you. I stress myself out. So that's kind of what that looks like. I think it's pretty cool. And then the only other thing, well, there's two things we got to do. We got to stick it down to the base, and then we have to, of course, add a few gems. So I'm just going to stick this down. Oh, my glue presses. Got a little thing on it there. I know there's always that question, like, do you stop? Do you keep going? Do you add more? Is less more? I don't know. I'm the biggest of overthinkers. Just ask my friends. They make 6 cards. I make 1. I just love this. And it's all starting with a rub-on. Like, it's so easy. And you don't have to go to all this trouble if you don't want to, and it's still going to look great. Even just putting the rub-on on and doing the stamping over with the text would be really fun. But that's kind of, I mean, it looks really good, right? Okay, and then we're just going to add a few gems. And I'm going to go neutral. We could go silver because we've got silver. We've got silver foil, but I still think I'm going to go. These ones are kind of fun. Oh, yeah, let's go with those. Okay. I don't know what exactly these are because mine are not labeled. But I get a lot from Pink Fresh and GK. Pardon me. Okay, so let's just pull. Where's my original one? Here we go. Oh yeah, I want to put on these rub-ons too. Wait, hold on. So I do have these, and I think this will be cool. So I'm just gonna, it's kind of like splatter. Oh yeah. Okay, we're just gonna put that there. And I'm gonna come in with my rub-on tool. So this time I'm using the pointy end because these are just very specific. Perfect. And I've got another little one here. I mean, you don't think they're going to make a difference, but then you put them on and you're like, oh. And I've got a couple more I can do over here. So it looks like I actually splattered on the paper. See? Isn't that cool? Okay. Now I can put my gems on. So I'm going to go here. And then we need a teeny weeny one. Trying to get them to, oh yeah, always upside down. There we go. So there, and then we'll do another one down here. Like so. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So we'll just put a little glue. So these ones are a little heavy. And I find sometimes picking them up with the wax, it's sticking to the rub-on too. There we go. I can't talk and put sequins on at the same time. Oh my gosh. Yep, they're sticking a little bit to the rub-on. Okay, come back here. Okay, there we go. Done. What do you guys think? Isn't it awesome? So we foiled, if we can get the foil to show. There it is. So we foiled, we stamped, we ink blended, but it all started with a rub-on, which is really the wow factor on the card. So I'll just bring in the other ones that Christina made because they were pretty great too. All right, there's mine. I'll put that up. And here's 1, 2, and 3. Let's see. Can we get them all on? Oh, yeah. So all of those cards are made with the rub-ons. So we made 4. Oh, plus I made this one. So 5 cards, and I still have 3 transfers left. And look at all the cards. So, ladies, get your set for free. Minimum $50 purchase. I know you all have things on your wish lists and in your notebooks from previous lives. It doesn't take long to spend $50, that's for sure. And you can get the full set of rub-ons for free. We're running the promotion today and tomorrow. And don't forget to add it to your cart. I'm just going to review that because we've got more people viewing right now. I'll add this to the stage. Here we go. So this is the online store right here. So here's the home page. Okay. So you're going to go on, you're going to click online store. And then right up here at the top, it's the exclusive gift with purchase. So you click that. This is all the particulars. Plus I sent out an email and it's on our socials. So just make sure you read so you know you're doing it right. And then you add this to your cart. So scroll to the bottom, you click on this. This is where you're going to add it to your cart. I recommend that you do that first. Okay. Then go shopping. And that way you don't forget. Because I don't know how much I'll be checking the email throughout the weekend. And if you email and say, oh, I forgot, can you please add one? People are still shopping and doing their thing. And by the time I see it, it might be gone already. So make sure that you add it to your cart and then go ahead and check out. Any information you want us to know, leave it in the comments of the order. That way, you know, that's what we read when we process all the orders. So if there's any instructions you want to give us, leave them in the comments. And if you want to place multiple orders throughout the weekend, that's okay too. Just make sure you're communicating with us and letting us know, I've already placed an order. Please add this to that one before you ship, and all that kind of stuff. And this rub-on promotion is one per person. Okay. So you can't like order one today and then put another in an order tomorrow and order another one. We'll be watching. So, yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the live. I had a blast creating the cards, and I hope you have a lovely weekend. Despite the rain, take advantage of extra crafting time. Give our video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you soon.